Hey guys, welcome back. I'm David Fenwick. Today we're going to be talking about identity. Now, identity is not what you do or the roles you fulfill, but it's so much more meaningful and deeper than that. And what we're going to discuss today is how to examine and take honest appraisal and the courage to be intentional, to have action steps to deal with the things in our life that would war against our true identity. Now, identity is something that is deep down. It's hidden. It's buried. It's like I say, it's more than what you do. But I believe that it's what you were created to be. You may or may not agree, but I believe wholeheartedly that we were created by God. We were created in His image. And because of that, we have an identity that's eternal. It's bigger than just the natural life. Everything that we do is affected by the viewpoint from our identity. What I mean by that is if our identity is secure and solid and healthy, it affects our relationships, it affects our emotions, it affects our well-being in every aspect of life. Now, there's things that war against our identity. They war against our soul. There's things that hold us back. They keep us from achieving our goals and our dreams. And some of those things that war against our identity are things like shame and regret, disappointment. There could be some self-hatred, and definitely a sense of unworthiness. And those are all lies, because that's not really who we are, but those are things that are warring against our true identity. And it's interesting that I've found that the fertile ground for these lies to really take hold and grow are usually found in comparison and unforgiveness. Now, comparison is dangerous for men. And the reason so is because we look at what another man has accomplished. We look at another man's status. We look at the shape of another man, his physical appearance and what have you. And if we compare ourselves, we end up losing focus of who we really are. And that's where things like you start feeling unworthy. You might have regrets for some stupidity, some dumb things you've done in life, or letting yourself go. Unforgiveness is another one. If there's things in your life, people in your life, that you're holding unforgiveness towards, you're actually holding yourself back. I've heard it said many times that holding unforgiveness against somebody else is like you drinking deadly poison and expecting them to die. Unforgiveness truly chokes out your life. And so we want to get past that, but we have to understand what is holding us back. What are these things that we're believing that aren't true? These lies that we've allowed to affect our who we are. We've allowed them to affect our decisions and our actions. It takes courage, right? It takes true courage to bring to light, to face, to literally dig down and excavate these lies in our life, right? But when we do, when we have that courage and we start to look at ourselves and we start to examine our lives and we're being honest with ourselves, it gives us the opportunity to rise above, right? We get the chance to rise above our circumstances. And then once we rise above, we can slowly and sometimes quickly gain victory. And once you come above something, once you rise above something, once you courageously overcome, you now have authority. You now have authority for yourself and you have authority for others. So if you overcome things like guilt and shame, once you overcome that, then you're free and you can go and you can start sharing with other men who might be struggling in the same areas. And this is such a key, because what we want to see with men to make our next third our best third is we want to be intentional to invest in other men. Other men need you, right? We need you to be the best man that you can be, and then to invest in others from that point, from that vantage point. I've said it many times, is that your struggles, right? Your pain, your regrets, all the stuff that has come against you, that doesn't disqualify you at all, but rather it uniquely qualifies you. When a man sees another man who's overcome obstacles, when he's overcome these challenges, when a man is honest enough to say, hey, I used to feel this way, I used to struggle with self-hatred, I used to struggle with sense of unworthiness, and I don't any longer, other guys who are struggling in that same area, they're going to be drawn to you, right? In this age of information at our fingertips, it's so easy just to get on the internet and get all the answers, all the information we need. But you know what you can't download? You can't download experience. You can't download failures. You can't download struggles. A man can't go online and get answers to these deep, deep problems. The only way they can get answers is from men like you and I, men who have overcome and have gotten victory over these things. So what are some action steps that we can take? Because what we want to do is we want to see you start 2025 with intentionality and take action steps in the areas of your identity, in areas of your relationships, in your emotional well-being, your physical well-being, and in your thought life. But today, in this area of identity, what are some action steps that can launch you into 2025 with hope, with being equipped so that your next third truly can be your best third? Well, as I said before, real masculinity is brave vulnerability. You have to dig deep. It takes courage to dig deep. It takes courage to explore and excavate, especially in those deep, dark recesses, right? Where pain and where these lies have taken hold. And so what I want you to do, and I encourage you to do, is to get by yourself. Get a pad of paper and get alone. Maybe you can do it at home, maybe you have to go somewhere, but get by yourself and ask this: what consistently holds me down? What consistently holds me back? What is it in my life that I am believing, some recurring negative thoughts that every time it seems like as I'm starting to get ahead, this comes in and I pull back? For me, I've shared this before, but I was sexually abused as an 11-year-old boy. And what happened to me was this thought came in that I was unworthy to be protected, right? I wasn't worth protecting. And because I wasn't worth protecting, I then thought of myself as just unworthy. I didn't deserve good things. I didn't deserve the best. And so I went decades with this underlying thing. It wasn't top of my mind. It wasn't in every thought, but it was underlying. It was deep, deep down in the recesses of my soul. And so if I was unworthy for good things, when I was on a path of success, I would often self-sabotage. I would often say, well, I don't deserve this. And next thing you know, I'm really taking steps to sabotage my own success. And it wasn't until I got free of that, but I had to dig down deep, right? I had to dig deep down into those recesses of my soul, and I had to unearth this. I had to excavate this sense of unworthiness. And once I did, though, I was able to deal with it. Because these recurring negative thoughts, these things that constantly hold us down, I call them destiny thieves. They come to steal, kill, rob, destroy your hopes, your dreams, your aspirations. And we have to get down and find out what they are and identify them, right? So as you write them down, what I want you to do is ask yourself this: where did they originate from? Where did these thoughts, these lies originate from? When did it begin? At what time of my life did it begin? Now, you might need to go through counseling. You might need someone to help you with this. You might have to take a path of some sort of like inner healing, spiritual inner healing. Or you might just be able to deal with it just you by yourself. I know for me, I did some counseling, but the big part of it was that I got down and I wrote these things out and I came to terms with them. I identified them, and then just alone with God, I started to ask, what's the real truth? You know, what is the real truth? When I felt unworthy and unprotected, the real truth was my parents didn't know. My parents loved me. They didn't know what was going on. It wasn't that I was not worth protecting. They just didn't know. And then when I thought that I was unworthy, right, that I didn't deserve good things, I had to come to the truth of saying, wait, no, I do deserve good things. Somebody else with evil intentions came in and affected my life, but that doesn't mean that I'm unworthy. And once I broke free of that, everything started to come together for me. I started to get victory over that. And because of that, I can speak openly and I can address things. And there are so many men in my life that I have encouraged them because they have felt unworthy, right? They have felt like they don't deserve the best. And by sharing my story, I give them hope. So when you start asking yourself, what is truth? Write out the things that you've been believing. Write out, when did it begin? Write out, how did it originate, right? Not just when it began, but what started it? What was the incident or the circumstances or the person that it originated with? And then, what is the truth? What's the truth about you? Because remember, we have an identity that comes from our creation, that we were created by God in His image. And you've been created with a hope and a purpose and a destiny far greater than what you do, far greater than the roles you play. I remember I used to go, as we all did, right? We would go and meet guys, and when you'd meet them, what's the first thing a guy asks a guy? He says, what do you do? And a guy will say, well, I'm a plumber, or I'm a CEO, or I work in finance, whatever it is. And at trade shows and at different meetings when I would travel, I would start asking guys, instead of what do you do, I said, tell me about your family. It was a totally different question, right? And I'd be like, tell me about your family. And they would be caught off guard. Some would kind of slough me off, but others really dove in and they started telling me about their family. Well, I came to realize that that was good, but those were just roles, right? I'm a son. I'm a brother. I'm a father, I'm a grandfather, right? Those are roles. That's not my identity. I'm a businessman, I'm a life coach, I'm a pastor, I'm in real estate. Those are things I do, but neither one of those is my true identity. And so I want to get myself, and I want for you to get to the point where you don't define yourself by what you do. You don't define yourself by the roles that you fulfill, but that you come to terms with who you really are. What makes you come alive, right? There's different things that make each one of us come alive, and that's what these lies attack. These lies don't attack your job. They don't attack really your roles that you fulfill. They attack those things that make you come alive. So if you can take time and be courageous and dig down deep and excavate deep into those recesses of your soul and say, what is it I've always wanted to do? What makes me come alive? And then what has come against that? What have I believed that's a negative reoccurring thought about myself? What is my destiny thief or thieves in my life? And then you can start to process, what is the real truth? Who am I really? Those are the things that will help you come to terms, be intentional, and launch you into the best year of your life, into the best third of your life. So again, I appreciate you so much. I encourage you. We need you. We need good men. Thank you again for subscribing. Thank you for liking. Thank you for sharing. And we'll see you next time on Next Third Best Third.